As a lifewire of any country, a wobbling economy translates to hardship for citizens. The Governor of Anambra State, Professor Chukwuma Soludo, announced, or rather analysed, the country's macroeconomics and concluded that President Bola Tinubu inherited an economy that could be compared to a dead horse or standing. Governor Soludo commended the president for some economic decisions he has taken, including the removal of petrol subsidy in his first 100 days in office, urging Nigerians to support the government in achieving its plans. Bikio, let me come to you. Does this in any way correspond with Minister Wale Edun's take? I mean, just yesterday or day before, he said the last time Nigeria's economy exhibited a noteworthy period of stability was approximately a decade ago.
What the governor is simply saying is, the truth. He's talking about the economy that this president inherited. It's very self-evident. Look at the number of Nigerians, for example, that our Bureau of Statistics said had slipped into the poverty pit. About 170 million Nigerians are believed to be poverty-stricken. That's a huge number. And an economy that suffers from double-digit inflation, at least that had been the case for so long. Double-digit inflation, very weak national currency. You know, at the time, around 2015, the Naira exchange to the dollar at less than 200 Naira to a dollar. But today, sometimes in the parallel market, it's even in excess of 900 Naira to a dollar. So, no one can say that the economy that Tinubu inherited was a thriving one, because on ways and means alone, we are talking about a loan of 22.8 trillion Naira from ways and means alone. It means that the government found it difficult to pay its bills and just continued to call on the CBN to print money for it. That will not happen in an economy that was thriving, or that is thriving. Again, look at our debt to revenue situation. We were spending 96% of our revenue on debt servicing. The ideal thing will have been to look at, not look at debt to GDP, but look at debt to revenue. And when you look at our debt to revenue ratio, it is extremely dangerous. That means virtually everything that you earn, you are spending it in debt servicing. No one needs to tell us that we found ourselves in a hole. We were approaching a fiscal cliff. And if the president had not stepped in to remove subsidy and to stop the subsidy that the foreign exchange market was benefiting from, things will have gone from worse to worst, and we will have found it extremely difficult to stay in business as a country. Not many Nigerians, in fact, I would say that Nigerians didn't know that we were owing JP Morgan and others about $15 billion. It was never reflected even in our debt stock. So it was a secret loan in the real sense of it that the former CBN governor allowed to happen. Because the National Assembly did not give the approval for those loans, we were collateralizing loans with money from our foreign reserves. No wonder the other day, JP Morgan said we did not have 33 billion in our foreign reserve, that we actually had a little over $3 billion. So the economy was approaching a very terrible situation at the time the president took over. And look, Soludo belongs to a different political party. But the good thing is, he said the truth. He said the truth. Government was broke. Government was broke. And we said a lot of these things in the past, but people told us, no, the government is not broke. Well, how come? We even got turned back by China the other day when we asked for a loan. Because if you find yourself in this kind of situation that you're spending nearly all what you are earning to service your loans, international institutions will downgrade your ratings and you will find it difficult to access funds globally because everyone will see you as insolvent. Nigeria had entered that phase of insolvency and we needed an open heart surgery. That is where we found ourselves now. So this is a time to say the truth. I'm impressed with the governor of Anambra State because he said the truth. But we are beginning to earn money. Some states are earning now, as a result of removal of subsidy, 3 times what they earned some months back. So states have no business now not paying workers. Things are improving in terms of revenue because even the bulk of what we earned from crude oil sales, we were using it to pay for subsidy. That is no longer happening.
All right. Thank you, Bikio.
So we are on a good part of recovery. And we just pray that the government will have that political will to keep us on the course of recovery as a nation.
All right, Bikio. Dr. How do you react to this hard truth?
Well, it's the hard truth. And I like the other part of it. That's when Soludo said we should expect bumpy ride. You can't run away from that. And that's always the point with people who have to deal with government in this economic hardship, e.g. labor. What's the hard truth? What's the hard fact? We're in a hole. And to get out of that hole, it's going to be bumpy. Soludo said it all. He's a member of the All Progressive Grand Alliance. The government at the center is the All Progressive Congress. He spoke as somebody who was a former governor of the Central Bank of Nigeria and a very sound economist. I didn't read the economy, or I don't know so much about it. But from what I can see, not just hearing, even the books are showing it. As part of what he said the government printed over 22 trillion, leading to high inflation, not backed by any economic policy or anything. It was just, we need to keep going. A CBN report came out, which was published today by The Punch. The first 3 months of this year, the expenditure of the federal government exceeded revenue by 1.4 trillion. Just the federal government. Where do you get this? You go borrowing. So the ride is definitely going to be bumpy if we are going to come out of this. We should be good students of history. Can we go and look at other countries that survived this kind of economy? People are quick to mention Malaysia, but are we ready to go through what Malaysia went through to become a superpower today? Malaysia doesn't have the kind of resources that we have, and it is thriving because a lot of things have changed. They've looked at areas where they had comparative advantage, IT especially.
All right.
And they're good to go.
So, Dari, Dr. and BKO have both talked about the political will to take harsh decisions.
That's what we need. That's exactly what we need. And so far, so good. I think we found in the saddle as president a man who is ready to offer this political will and take harsh, or let me say, take seemingly harsh decisions. These decisions are not enjoyably being taken by him. He's taking, I recall listening to, during an interview with Bola Tinubu when he left office as governor. He wasn't president then. He recalled some decision he had to take as governor of Lagos State. And he told us during the interview that at times he will get home and scold himself. This is going to inflict hardship, pain on some people. Well, people are not going to enjoy this. But he will quickly tell himself, Governor Bola Tinubu took those decisions. You are reasoning as citizen Bola Tinubu now. Please, citizen Bola Tinubu, be ready to bear with these decisions taken by Governor Bola Tinubu. That's how difficult it will be for him now when he is alone and he's reviewing some of his decisions. But these are things we need to do. Having said that, we should also understand the fact that Dr. said we should be good students of history. In 2011, 12 years ago, the then federal government, under the leadership of Dr. Goodluck Jonathan, announced the need for us to remove subsidy. For months, analysts, government mediators, government officials were explaining to us why subsidy had become a national tragedy. I recall that they told us, as part of their need to convince us that this thing has to go, they told us Nigeria was on the brink of insolvency if we don't do away with subsidy. We continue that subsidy regime for another 12 years. So you can imagine that what BK was trying to tell you is this sorry situation of Nigeria. We don't need much explanation. Right. If you discover that we continue for 12 years after we were told we were about to be insolvent, then you understand where we are today.
All right, gentlemen. Let's get to the final lap of the program. The Zamfara State security challenge continues.